I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
Two L's, one pod. We are the spinoff of the web series The Two Dicks. It's on YouTube. You can see it. All the episodes are there. I think there's about 15 or 16, probably about 10 of them that are any good. I'm Al Romas. I'm in Curacao. That's one of the ABC islands. Al Ducharme just told me that. That's Al Ducharme. He is in somewhere in Europe. He's in France. We have a special guest. That is comedian Bernadette Pauley. And she just let us know that they're at the birthplace of Napoleon Bonaparte. Is that true? Or am I wrong on that already?
We're on the island of Corsica, but also the very town and city, which is a bustling city. Jakio, how do you pronounce it in French?
I don't know.
French.
I'm not sure.
Here's something we learned today. I had no idea. His parents migrated from Italy, so he's actually Italian. And I just thought he was
Napoleon.
French.
Napoleon?
Yeah.
You know, there's YouTube tutorials to tell you how to keep listeners and on a podcast. And I think one of them said if you mention Napoleon Bonaparte in the first 2 minutes,
you're
lose
bombing.
Them all? And you lose everything. So I'm pretty sure that's just what happened.
Some people are interested in these little facts.
Yeah, not many. Anyway, we're here.
Well, they had a lot of busts of him, and he you could see he looks more Italian to me.
This island has Italian undertones. Like it's all one big mishmash. It's France, but it's right next to an Italian island, and it's right off the coast of France and Italy, and it's definitely French, but there's like an Italian thing going on.
There's influences, but also you got to remember back 1,000, 2,000 years ago, the Roman Empire was so big it actually governed many of these Mediterranean islands. So.
And it's interesting. That's a trend right now on TikTok where women ask men, are they thinking about the Roman Empire? Have you seen that?
No.
This is a trend. It's going on. So if you watch something, you could watch now like, some interview with somebody and then for fun, they'll go, are you thinking about the Roman Empire? It's become a trend. I don't know why. And we just did it organically.
Wow.
So look at that.
We're trending.
Pretty good.
Organically trending.
Yeah, we're trending. We're trending. So let's explain. You guys are on a
celebrity
2-week cruise.
Yes, this is a 2-week cruise on Celebrity's Edge, which came out in 2019, and I was on it on its maiden voyage, and we skipped the icebergs. This is my third time on the ship. It's a beautiful vessel.
It is beautiful.
It's a beautiful class ship, and they've made 2 more, the Beyond and the Apex, which just came out about 1.5 years ago. But this is spectacular. We have a forward cabin, so we can see what ports we're coming into. And again, Bernadette has been some of these ports on land in her college days. And a lot of these are my first timers. This is my first time in this area, and I'm loving it, man. It's awesome. But
at my age, I forget my college years here. So it's kind of like I'm here for the first time too.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. You could be like some old person when they revisit something, you go, I kind of remember this. I think I've been here before, and then it comes back.
I think this 2,000-year-old cathedral was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have you worked yet, Alfred? I saw I just want to go. I saw a picture of you. It looked like a sound check. Look pretty nice. That's a nice room. I've never seen that room
theater.
Before.
It's like a 3/4 round, and Bernie,
it's a beautiful theater.
Bernie took the photo. She was in the audience for my sound check and my show, and those graphics.
That's a lot.
Those graphics. That's a screen. That particular one is projection, and on the newer ships they have LED screens, and it's 3 panels. They slide together. It looks like one big panel. It's pretty visually. It's very.
It looks nice.
Yeah, very professional. It looks like I sold out my own theater, or I'm doing a Comedy Central special.
It does. It had that look. And how were the crowds? I mean,
they're great.
A little older. Europe, yeah.
It's so funny because normally these cruises skew a little older, and now that I'm getting older, they skew younger.
I know, it's weird.
No, there's younger people actually taking advantage. I guess.
Yeah.
I blame everything on COVID, the lockdown from 3 years ago. I think a lot of people are going, holy shit, let's get this in off our bucket list. And they've been
Well,
also
it's
marketing.
changed.
Yeah, they market.
I find the crowds have changed after COVID. I mean, it's definitely what cruising. I don't want to be snobby or say, but you know what I mean. It was a different class, and now they've opened it up to everybody, which is good. Everyone gets to cruise now. Where 5-10 years ago, people thought of it as, oh, that's expensive, or I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But now it seems like everybody's out here. I mean, it doesn't, and with that comes, I mean, like we talked about other ones, the weed out here is unbelievable. The smell of weed on this ship, on every ship, is everyone's high. Everybody's high. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it.
Who's sponsoring that?
Who's what?
Who's sponsoring that? Hemp?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I don't smoke it, so I don't know. But I mean, everybody, is up at the pool area, whatever, and they're just high. They're high as a kite.
I thought you weren't allowed to do the marijuana vaping. And some of the ships here, you can do cigars and cigarettes outdoors in designated areas, but you're not allowed to vape anywhere.
They have the sign in the terminal: no vapes, no pens, but nobody's paying attention, and no one's enforcing it. So. They've gotten pretty brazen with it, just sitting out there. And I was sitting next to a table of young guys, and they were just smoking weed, and nobody said anything. And
well, I wonder, is there a liability thing if you have a prescription? Are people afraid to legally tell someone they can't smoke pot? Kind of like the whole service animal thing. A lot of people think they don't really believe in it, but they're too afraid to start trouble.
Right. But that should almost be illegal. You shouldn't be able to go on Amazon and buy a dog vest that says service animal.
Bernadette.
You know what I mean? You shouldn't be able to, because you're not a service animal.
I understand what you're saying intellectually, but emotionally, anything that anyone does to take their dog, and I don't care. It's kind of like, for me, where all bets are off. Kind of like I get a little vigilante about certain things, but I hear you. I understand what you're saying.
Well, I know what you mean. I love dogs, and if you want to bring a dog, that's great. But I don't like the fact that, because, with my sister having a real service dog and seeing what they do and what they're about.
Good point. The
idea that you just bring little buttons on a plane because, he wants to ride on a plane. It's like
we did
you're taking something that's very important and reducing. Did you? Well, all right.
Because they clamped down on it shortly thereafter. So
your dog. You were claiming your dog was a service dog,
but we did it because
we did it legally.
I got a prescription that said I was crazy. But the reason I did it, well, first of all, I'm crazy. But second of all, our dog.
Where do you get a prescription? I'm crazy.
Yeah, the crazy prescription.
She would have anxiety attacks.
But here's the deal.
Because she lives with
me.
Our dog Buddy lived with a homeless person in Times Square, and he kept him zipped up in a duffel bag in Times Square. So I took Buddy on a plane once, and the woman, the sky bitch, as they call them, right? Tom Cotter calls them. He kept saying you have to. He just didn't want to be zipped up. He loved his bag, but if you zipped up, he would panic and cry and snort like a dragon, to the point where she said, okay, you can take him out of the bag, because he had such panic attacks. So the reason why I got this prescription and made him a service animal is so that he could sit on my lap and not have a panic attack and travel comfortably with me. But it still makes me look like a piece of shit compared to your sister having a real service animal.
I just outed my wife and myself with this.
But my point is, we didn't take him as a fashion accessory or blah blah blah.
Okay, that I can deal with that a little bit. But the other one is the worst, where they're just, it's a poodle on a lady's lap, and she's got a service dog vest.
Yeah. And you can go on and buy all these
Amazon.
things.
It's $10.
So you can also, that's the vest. You can buy just like you can buy a vaccine card online or print it out and then fill it in with a marker. Scribble. It was so ridiculous. Do you have a vaccine card? Yeah.
But they're clamping down on that big time, aren't they? With the dogs.
You read those things, but I see it everywhere. I mean, they're on the ship, they're in the airport, so I don't know.
I'm not saying. I thought there was I was seeing a lot of it a few years back, prior to the in 2019, I saw quite a bit of it, but I haven't seen as much.
And it's weird you can't say anything because I was at Visani's and there was a big dog, like a lab, just wandering through the dining room and like sniffing people and like trying to get up to their plates. And I said to the owner, I go, "Why is the dog loose? This is a dog loose." He's like, "Yeah, it's a service dog."
Yeah, but it's not.
I go, "That's
supposed
not
to
a
be.
service. That's not a service dog." He goes,
No,
"I know, but we're not.
That's a
legally
rule
allowed."
that
We're not allowed
it
to
has to be
ask.
in a vest. It has to be tethered.
Right.
Can't go beyond the.
But he
the
can't.
leash
He
can't-
said legally you
lead
can't
can't be-
ask
yeah.
why you can't go.
Yes.
What
No,
is
no.
that?
You
Or
can
why
say,
is
that a service dog? Well, he has to. You know the rules. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take you and your fucking fucked up mind and throw you out.
I think you
didn't
can
wanna do
say,
that
is that a service
as a
animal, but you
business
can't
owner.
ask why. But
Right.
I think the law and everything it's such a, what's the word, litigious society that people are
Yeah.
afraid to just ask anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
then in
And everyone
France-
takes advantage of everything. So you don't know anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, she is a service dog. She needs it. Well, I want one. So then everyone, okay. Then Amazon's like, here you go. Well, let's make vests.
Yeah, so we
It's like,
did
why
it a
not
few
make
times.
phony handicap parking stickers? Let's make let's go hog wild, you know?
Yeah.
We
Why
definitely
not?
did it a few times where we had a transport buddy and he couldn't go in the under bay of the
Oh,
plane.
never.
It was
Oh, well, that I would buy a service vest before that. I mean, that thing is put your dog in a fucking refrigerator for
there's
6
too many
hours and
there's
hope
too
he's
many
alive.
dogs that come out.
They don't come
Yeah,
out.
I
yeah.
can't even think about it.
Yeah. So
That is it's terrible.
here's
know?
Bernadette. When we had to leave the dog somewhere, it was
yeah.
pretty rough. It was pretty rough.
We
Sex life.
Kelly's sister and her friend came down and watched our dog while Kelly and I went up to Maryland. And her sister was kidding though. She was like, we're gonna have an intervention with Kelly because Kelly's that way. It's like after maybe 40 minutes out somewhere, she's like, okay, we should probably head back.
Yeah.
Teddy's been alone. We should get back. I'm like, we just got here. We haven't even had one drink. Yeah, Teddy's alone.
It's a
We
thing.
should get back.
It's
We could have a
It's
drink at the
funny you
house.
say
I'm
that.
like, oh my God.
Because sometimes if people think it's obnoxious, if like people with cats and dogs say I'm a pet parent, like I'm a parent, and they're
Right.
like, you're not a parent, it's not your baby. And I always thought, yeah, you know what? We are different because pet parents are obsessed and always say, I want to go home. I've got to get home. The dog needs to
Right.
go out. I want to get home to the cat. Whereas human parents, if they have a babysitter, they're not going home. They're out for the
That's
night.
a good.
They
That's
refuse
like
to
a
go
bit.
home.
You should do that. That's a
I've
bit.
tried to. I've been lazy with it, but it's true, isn't it?
Oh,
If they have a
it's
babysitter,
a
they're like,
bit.
you can't, we're staying out all night.
That's hilarious. Yeah,
And
when
then-
you're kids, the last thing you want to do is go home. You can
Yes.
see those fucking monsters.
Right?
And when you're away from your little puppy, your kid, I miss hubby. So
I
cute.
know. We're like, well, screw
Yeah.
you. I want to go home to my dog. I'm done listening to you.
Now we have been petless now for 6
Yeah.
months. We lost our Jasper, but if we're hanging out with people that we don't care to hang out with, they go, "Hey, where do you guys want to go next?" We're like, "Well, we got to get home to the cat and dog.
Right.
We got to get going." But nice, we'll see
Yeah.
you guys. We'll get back in touch.
It's a good out, definitely. But we have a couple of friends who I think get annoyed, and they've kind of let us know a little bit. Like, come on. I'm like,
Oh, real? They get
Can do.
annoyed with you
Yeah.
wanting to go home to the puppy?
yes,
I've
yes,
had to say, Bernadette. I go, he's a dog.
yes.
He survived
Yes.
living in a bag in Times Square. I think he can handle our sofa. I think
Yeah.
I think he can live through that. The leather couch.
Well, exactly. I'm in the stage because I'm away a week or two and then home. So I'm in the stage now where the dog Teddy thinks my spot in the bed is his. That's his
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
And when I come home, I literally get that look and that sigh of like, ugh, like, dude, this
He's
is where
here.
I sleep. And it's like, are
I'm
you
the
kidding me?
alpha.
You're lucky you're in the doors. You have a bed on the floor, which is, I guess, not good enough in the evening. But yeah, and then he's now, because I've always had a dog that jumped off the bed when I slept
Mhm.
or would sleep at the end of the bed, but he's a smaller dog. So you probably had that too. He's like right on your head. He's against my head when I sleep. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's a little tight.
We had that with the cat a little bit, but they both our pets ended up at the bottom of the bed. They knew there was a bed at the bottom of our bed, which can be annoying
Yeah.
sometimes, but I tend to slide it to her side. And we don't have a
Yeah.
king size bed. It's a queen size. And then they would kind of
Yeah.
stay down there until morning. And then Jasper would come up like this and put his whiskers and face right in your face. And you open your eyes and you're seeing, it looks like a lion ready to take you out.
Right. Right.
Whereas Buddy towards the end, he just like would sleep late. We'd nudge him, dude, you got to go out. He's like, I ain't moving.
Isn't it funny as they get older? Because when they're young, they wake you up so early, and then they get older, and you're like, "Come on, dude."
Yep. Exactly. I know. King size bed. When you go to a hotel, do you notice the difference from the bed at home? Like, is it a big? Like, I find when we were in a hotel 2 weeks ago, and the king, it just seemed like this is massive. Like the queen is.
It seemed like we had our
small.
own hotel rooms.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a king.
We have a king
I'll
now.
never do it, but I got to.
King now. We're in a king size bed.
Yeah. But every time I do that, I go home. I go like, we got to get a king.
Right.
And then we don't get it.
Well, it takes up a lot of extra. Whatever it is, 8 inches. That's a lot of space because that's 6.5 feet by 8 inches. It's
Is that 8 inches bigger than a queen?
I think it's 8 inches wider than it's then you have your 6. What is it? 6'4", 6?
Wow.
How many inches? 78.
I had no idea.
Did you get off the ship today?
No, it's only
morning
10:30.
Oh,
so I just had some coffee and doing the pod, but
are you
I
going
will
to
get
get
off the ship? And just to because I looked out the window. It looks like a bridge out here.
You got to do
so
have you
take
been
the
here
walk.
before? Have you been to Carousel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I've been. I don't remember it. There's nothing memorable.
It's a bridge you cross. It connects the canals, and it's more of a Dutch side when you go across. The only thing is, if a ship is coming through or a boat, they stop it, and you can take a ferry, which is about 300 yards away. But the bridge is out for like 10 or 15 minutes, and people crowd on each side of the canal, and then you hear the sound, the horn, and then they reconnect it, and then it's a floating bridge you can walk across. It's pretty cool. It's like pontoon.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll head out after this. Bernie, do you like cruising per se? Europe, of course, is great, but do you like the idea of cruising? Did you want to work on a cruise and do shows? Does it bother you or not bother you? But do you like, hey, I'd love to be working tonight? You see that theater, or are you just sort of in vacation mode? Or
well, before I ever took a cruise, I thought it's the last thing I'd ever want to do. I was like, oh, you're stuck on a big boat with like the people you avoided in high school. That was my view of what a cruise would be. Now I realize it depends on the cruise. If you take one, like right now we're going to Europe, different spots. Sometimes they have people give lectures. It's interesting. You can do whatever you want.
Don't talk about Al's show that way. That's, he's funny.
He is. And he's had great shows. He's had great shows, and people came up to us today on Corsica telling him that they enjoyed him.
I did. I was a bit of a celebrity out there today.
Yes.
Because it's Corsica. We have the Valiant Lady, which is Virgin Cruise Line's big ship.
Oh,
it looks like a Russian battleship.
Yeah,
but it's sleek.
Yeah,
and
adult only.
So you have like 3,000 passengers there. We have 2,800. So there's an influx. Plus, there's people that come here on vacation.
2,800 on that one.
On the Edge.
Wow, that's a small ship. I mean, comparatively to today, where we were always on, 6,000 people.
Yeah,
2,800's intimate.
Yeah, I think it maxes out at 3, but here on this particular ship, they really they maximize the center of the ship, the atrium. Visually, it's incredible, but there's like this cavernous center of restaurants and shops, but it's really high-end looking, pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
ship. Are you
ship.
on with other entertainers? Do you know them or anyone who you know?
I know of them. I sailed with them before, but I'm with Bernie, and I'm hanging out. There's Andrew, the singer. I've sailed with him a few times, but
yeah, he's good. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's
Andrew, the singer. He's
very
really
funny. Very funny. We popped into his show the other night. He's very funny.
Al's being Army and
I don't.
casting.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know Andrew, the singer, but I'm glad he's But Bertie, do you want to perform on a ship? Does it interest you? Do you see that theater and go, oh, I'd love to be up there? Or does it like, it's not really my thing, or I don't care?
I love watching Al. He's very good at this particular art form. Yeah, of course. I want to work, of course I'm taking time off of working at night. So there's always that paranoia, like you're going to get rusty or fall off the map. I'm really, really into the idea of the cruise ships that have comedy clubs on them. I think I would really love to bust into that however I can. So
absolutely.
Yeah, those
you
are
know how it is. You always feel like you should be working. But I don't.
Isn't that weird though? I don't like that. I wish we didn't. I mean, as a comic, I hate that when you go on a vacation or do something, and then after a certain number of days, I'm like, I kind of feel like I should, do something, show something.
I used to feel like that all the time. If I took 1 or 2 weekends off a year, on that Saturday night, if I was out with civilians, non-comic types, I started jonesing. I felt like it's 9:00. I'm supposed to be on stage somewhere. It was just
it's weird.
Now, not so much. And I think the cruise industry now that I'm working so many cruises has taken that away, because you can perform on a Monday night. You can perform on you can do a matinee on a Wednesday.
Well, I think we talked about this once, how before cruises, we worked every weekend. Like you couldn't do anything. Every weekend you just worked. But now you can do 2 weeks, maybe, then you come home and now you're off. You can go out on a Friday or Saturday night and be like a person, which is nice.
And I always tell Al too, we live in LA now, and there's always that paranoia, like, oh, I'm not working on a Friday or Saturday. I feel like I'm out of the loop. But we're around so many huge names, and they don't work on Fridays and Saturdays either. They just did a European tour, and they don't feel like working for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? But they want to go work out on a Monday. So I don't feel like that, like I did in New York City, where in New York you felt like you had to pound pavement every weekend. Every
day. You feel guilty in New York. Yeah, if you're not working, you feel like a loser.
Yeah,
you're shit. So it's a different.
But there were so many clubs.
Also, being older now too, I like the idea of like, all right, I can have a weekend off.
We went camping. We went camping 2 weeks ago, or
it was glamping. It wasn't camping. It was glamping.
There was alpaca. Around us.
I do get bitchy though. I'm the first to admit I get bitchy if I haven't been on stage. If too long goes by, I don't even realize.
How long? How long is that? Because
you really don't want to. I think a
10
week,
days,
like somewhere around a week. If I hit 7 days,
and this is a 2-week cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do.
It's been great.
I do pick. Sometimes I'll start fighting with him, and he'll say, "You need to get on stage." Instead of saying, "You need to get laid," he'll say, "You need to get on stage." And it's true. And then it stops me dead in my tracks.
When you get off stage, then you get laid.
Then you get laid. But that's.
Do you have a time limit, Romas?
I've gotten much better. When I was younger, I really was the same way. It was always in my head. I'm a loser. I should be working. Why aren't I working? But now I've gotten to the point where, I can enjoy it. I really enjoy having time off, and, I'm with someone who I'm happy to be with, and it's fun, and we have a good time together. So that's always like, I'm having a good time. Whereas I don't think about it, and the work is work now. I enjoy it, but I'm not in that, scratching and clawing phase of when we, so I don't feel guilty about it. But and I feel like we work enough. I mean, we work all the time.
Well, sometimes when I get back to LA after if I'm away for 2 or 3 weeks and I come back to LA, and I'm like, I'm not going to put my avails into the clubs, because I want to take a few days off from the clubs. And then there's other times I'll come back. I'm like, I got to get into a club. I've been doing ships. It's kind of weird.
But then, and I'll do things where I'm like I just did this 2 weeks or whatever it is, this 8 days. But then I'm coming home Sunday, and then I'm leaving again Saturday. But then I took a gig on Wednesday. I'm like, what am I? You know what I mean? Like, but that's what we do. You just go, well, I'm off. It's whatever, a couple $100. What the hell? Well, but then when I know though, when that Wednesday comes, and be like, why the fuck did I take? I
know.
I don't want to work tonight. I got 5 days at home. I don't want to do this, but I'll go do it. And,
and then you feel good after you do it.
Yeah. You get that high.
True.
True. But Bernie will say, hey, listen, the Comedy Magic called 2 shows Saturday night. Do you? And I left my weekend open. I'm like, no, you go do it. go, and then I'll make it like a boys' night or
Yeah.
it's a game.
Well, we
on,
work.
what I want to see.
Yeah, I feel like I don't feel like I used to feel guilty. I don't really feel guilty anymore because I feel like I'm always working in some way. You know what I mean? Like we're just out here a lot. So why not enjoy it a little bit? I mean, YOLO, baby, YOLO. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, you
YOLO.
guys are doing this podcast too. That's work. It's a different
It's
type.
work, man. It's work.
Work is work.
We might be one of the. We got to. We among comedians who've started when we did. I bet we're in the top 5% of still lasting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Still here.
90%. I told you, 90% of podcasts do not get past or make it to episode 50. Here we are, 251, 3 years, 4 seasons.
Not you guys, though. You just keep going. You're like a cockroach that you step on and then you pick up your foot and it's still kind of clawing its way forward.
Tentacles are moving.
And then you do it again and it's still trying. You just can't kill you guys.
We changed our name 3 times.
Thank you. There's the clip right there.
You reinvented yourselves like Cher and Madonna.
We did. We went from the Two Dicks Comedy Podcast to the Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast.
Yes.
And now 2 Al's, 1 Pod.
Yeah, we have merch that doesn't make sense anymore. We have stuff, man. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I had a guy, one of the guys I worked with said, I saw your podcast. I go, oh, he saw, I don't know, YouTube or heard, I don't know, he saw a picture, but he goes, what's the your symbol?
Logo?
I go, I don't know what you mean symbol. He goes, oh, I go, the badge? And then he goes, so he didn't know anything. I'm like, oh, we were, a little after we were detectives, and it was the 2 Dicks. Now we're the Talking Dicks. Now we're 2 L's. And then the guy I'm working with this week, who will remain nameless, he goes, anything for me to say? I go, yeah, 2 L's, 1 pod. That'd be great. And he goes, what is it? I go, 2 L's, 1 pod. And he goes, all right. And then he's up there and he goes, all right, I'm the next comedian. He's got a show called The 2 Al Show. Here he is. Dude, what the fuck? No one's had a problem with 2 Al's and 1 pod.
Did you tell him it was a podcast? It's called 2 Al's, 1 Pod.
I did, of course.
Okay.
See how he does that?
Well, I don't know.
Al Romas, he wanted to blame you. He does that
all
the time.
Is that gaslighting or something? Have I been gaslit by?
Yes, he's trying to gaslight you. Don't let him.
I don't care for it. Yeah, I didn't like that. He did very good, Bernie. He turned it on me. Yeah. Yeah. No, I told him. I said, sorry. I went up to him. I said, listen, sir, I have a podcast. The name of it is 2 Al's, 1 Pod. And he said, okay. And then he brought me up as the 2 Al Show. So, yes to your answer, Al.
All right.
I instructed
Can you give me
correctly.
the initials of this person? And will I guess it?
No.
Okay. All right. Off the air.
I think he may listen. So,
okay. Well, then
he's a good guy. Yeah. He's a good guy. But some of these, when you host,
if he's listening this far in, hey, good guy. Get it fucking right.
But some of these hosts don't care. It's like when I wrote a book years ago, and it's called How About a Hand for the Last Guy? And the host goes, you got anything for me to say? I go, yeah, I wrote a book. It's called How About a Hand for the Last Guy? And he's looking, all right. And then he goes on stage. He goes, this guy, he wrote a book and he'll tell you all about it when he's up here. Dude, what the fuck? Say the title. Say my name. But anyway. So
I think that they're thinking about their set they just had, and you told them in a backstage in 10 seconds is just didn't care.
I get it. I get it. But
so write it down and hand it. No. Okay.
Yeah. What was my point? I had one before. As I was saying something I want to say about MCs and comedy. Bernie, do you like obviously you like it, but when you do comedy and magic, because I saw on the sheet, someone posted a sheet, it's like 7 minutes set, very short sets. Do you like that? Or do you feel like, oh, it's good, I'm going and I want to do more time? Or is that a good thing for you?
Between 7 and 12, they're usually golden audiences. Yeah, 15, 20 is always the sweet, easy spot, I think. Sometimes when it's shorter, you feel like, oh, I really need to be structured and get, build it right. And sometimes when it's longer, I have a nervous breakdown and think everyone's going to get bored by me. But
I love working the club. Sure, we always want to do a few more minutes, but I've kind of
Yeah.
like used to the tempo of those 10-minute spots.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think my opinion on that would be those they're showcase clubs still, but a lot of people go ahead and try to work on their television sets, meaning performing on a television talk show
Yeah.
or whatnot. But those are, almost non-existent now. Everybody's doing their own special.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting, but at the same time, New York, LA, there's so many comedians. You can't just have the 3-person show. You got to throw on 5, 6, 7, 8 of them because there's so many.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's because it's rare. I mean, I like it. I like seeing that because I haven't know when the last time I did 7 minutes or 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it'd be kind of fun to put that little set together and just do it. Because what we do is these longer. Well, here I'm only doing 25, so can't really 13 shows, 25 minutes, and then the last show a different show. So it's not a ton of material unless you want to do it that way. Some guys do different stuff. Some mix it up. What do you, Al, when you're out here on these ships? Do you repeat the same show each night and do a different show the last night, or do you mix it up during the week?
I mix it up. And if I haven't done a bit in a while, and I want to take it out of the closet and brush it off, I might whip that out. Sometimes, it varies. It varies. Like I think
I just find a lot of times it's just a lot of people come back because they like the show.
That's the issue.
Oh,
if they enjoy you, they come back.
Yeah. But see, in the beginning of these clubs, Oasis class comedy clubs, you made a reservation. And then if you went to the Sunday show, Monday night, if you went back, they were like, "Oh, you're already here. You can go on a standby line, but you can't get in." Where now it seems like they're just coming back because I've had people go, "Hey, we saw you 5 times." I'm like,
I'm doing 2 different shows is the answer to the question on the comedy club. But with that said, when you're doing 13 to 17 shows, a couple of shows here and there, if they're doing that 3rd show one night, I might do a bit that I might be trying out or seeing how it goes that I'm going to be doing.
The 3rd one, like last night we did 3 and the 11:30 show is about half full, but they were great. They were like, you could do that. You could do a new bit and fuck around and have a little fun. Where the other ones are so packed, it's like, you got to kill. You know what I mean? You got to try.
Yeah, do your time. Get out of there.
Do it. But I tried to do the same set every show and then the last night do a different one. Because otherwise you get too mixed up. I'll be up on there going, did I tell you this already?
Yeah, I have the A, B sets that I do. I just did it on this cruise ship, but I don't have that many. I only had 3 shows per week. So I do, I do the 7:30 and 9:30 in the main theater. Well, they're all in the main theater.
Right.
And then last night I did an adult show. So I did 46 minutes, whatever it was.
45 and then an adult show?
You're a little broken up there, buddy. Let's see if we can.
40. Did you do 45 minutes clean?
I did 40. I did 40. Show? Yeah, last night I did. I'm sorry. 3 nights ago I did 46 minutes. I got it all timed over here, clean, and then I did 36 minutes last night of adult. So
that's good. That's a good amount of.
Well, the crowds are great. The crowds are great. So it's kind of.
Right.
They were like, no pressure. They said, oh, the late show. We started 5 minutes late. Do 30, 35. But they were great. So.
Do you have a preference? Would you, if you're going to be away for a week, would you like to do that 2 clean, 1 1 dirty adult, or would you rather do 13 comedy club shows? Like, does that matter to you? Do you have a thing in your head? Like, yes. I like to do 3 nights. That's it. Or I like to work all the
time. Bernie's with me on this. So this is her 3rd honeymoon. So because she's here with me, I like this schedule. I have.
Right. No, I get it.
I have 4 nights off.
Right. But I mean, when you're on your own, would you prefer?
Well, the time goes by faster when you're doing the clubs and, it pays a little extra. So I like that part. So making the time go by faster is nice.
Right.
But if you do too many of those, then it's like, what happened to this year? It flew by. Well, because you were just.
Well, I know that's every year, though, it seems now. Bernie, have you been on Oasis class ships with Al? Have you seen the comedy club? And
I have not. I haven't been on any.
You haven't been on the double wide?
No,
Oh,
I've never
Oh,
seen.
that
Wow.
wasn't you.
Yeah, no, that wasn't me.
oh, what the heck?
Thanks a lot, Romas.
She was actually a double wide. That's yeah. You got to check. You got to check it
my
out.
sister. My sister was with me. That's what it was.
Oh, well, that's share a cabin. How'd that work out?
My sister. We've shared a cabin.
You
most
share a
times.
cabin?
My
Really?
sister.
All right. I don't know. Just
What?
asking. Just a question. I don't know.
We went camping.
No.
We've gone camping together.
Glamping? Did you go glamping?
My sister, when she was younger, she's 5 years younger. When she gets scared, sometimes she'd come in my room.
All right, it's getting weird.
Well, yeah.
And I walked in. I go, "Don't touch my dildo, sis."
I sometimes just
There's
think
the clip.
his brain just goes.
Well, I knew once I started that whole thing because I saw him drifting with it. I was like, I'll stay quiet here, but it's gonna get
He knows what
it's
he's
gonna get
doing.
weird.
He's got. Let
getting
me see if we
weird.
get a gem out of this. If
I've
not,
done
it's just gonna
I've done
it's gonna go in the
251 with him.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
And he can
So
be
was it
very
late?
conservative at times and like, oh, you don't want to rock the boat. And then you see his little brain go this way and
Oh,
that
yeah.
comes
My
out of
little
his
brain.
mouth. And you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I'll lean forward so I look like I have a bigger head.
You got a lot of forehead starting. It's getting bigger each year, dude. So
Dude, tell
back
me
up a
about
little,
it.
would you?
Holy shit!
Back up a little.
Al,
Yeah.
do you take a lot of guests on the cruise with you?
I'm sorry?
Do you take guests with you?
No, I have not. And then, but
When's Kelly going?
Kelly's going to come on a cruise in February. She's
Great.
coming with me
Where?
on Carib, but we're going to Cozumel, and her cousin Lisa lives in Cozumel, so she will
And her
pick
Wow.
us up in the morning, and we will spend the day with Lisa. She's got a
pretty awesome.
Nice.
big place there, and like I think 5 golden retrievers.
Oh my
So
God.
that, yeah. So that
How
would be
did she end
that'd
up
be fun.
living there? Did she?
She was married a man who I think I probably got this story all wrong. I'll hear about it. But I think married a guy who ended up retiring, and they wanted to live in Cozumel, and he bought a place in Cozumel, and that's where they live.
Wow.
So
With 5 golden
Yeah.
retrievers. That's not
How
bad.
long have they been
golden
down there?
retrievers.
Because you used to be able to do it, live nice, and buy a nice place for a very reasonable amount. It's still reasonable compared to the States.
Yeah,
but it's
they've
not
been
like
down
it
there.
used to be.
They've been down there at least 5 years or
Okay,
more.
so-
And I've seen pictures. The place looks like a resort. So
So they get in.
pretty
they get in
sweet.
a decent time.
yeah, but we'll check it out. But that'll be in February. But she was on a cruise. She told me, 20 plus years ago, like a Carnival cruise with her kids. And I'm like, well, then you haven't cruised, because
Yeah.
when you see the difference,
Yes.
and we're gonna be on freaking Icon. That thing looks like, they just took everything and put it on one ship.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a
they
mothership.
literally just went. It's pretty
Added
incredible.
2 more tons or 4 more tons to it. Tonnage.
Yeah. People online are like some people, it looks fantastic. I'd be like, I wouldn't get on that thing. It's too packed. But then you look at it, it's not that many more people than Oasis. It's not that much bigger. It's, it's just more combined with stuff, but it's not that much bigger than an Oasis class.
It's funny. I'm seeing all the ships now. They're putting these elaborate water parks on them.
Yeah.
Which used to be just Carnival. And
Right.
it looks like a carnival, but now
Yeah.
everybody's caving, going, everybody wants these water slides.
Does
All right.
not interest me.
No, they're competing. One of the guys, we were talking about shit like that, and he goes, "Yeah, we realized we're competing with Disney. That's what it is,
Yeah.
and we don't want the older folks really anymore, because
Right.
we don't want to invest in them because they're dying.
Mhm.
We're investing in the young family, and the young family wants that shit. And you got to have stuff for their kids, and that's all they like. The way we think about dogs, they think about their kids.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to keep my kid entertained.
That
I'm
kid will
coming
go
out
on
here.
that water slide like 28 times.
Yeah. So,
Can't
but
wait to get
we
back
as
up.
older, I mean, I have no interest in that, and I like the older. I like the Oasis class, but I like the older days of cruising. I like it was a little, classier, and they gave you, extra things that you felt a little spoiled or special, whatever. And that seems they're taking that away in a way. They're just going more like Disney, like here, families come out here, have fun.
Kind of like Vegas did.
Right.
Vegas kind of
Right.
did that.
Right.
Disneyfied.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
You-
And I don't know. Vegas doesn't really. I think it's still open to the family, but they took that away, right? They're not really. They don't seem to promote the kids anymore. That sounds weird.
No, they don't. Well, they never really promoted to kids, did they?
They made it. They
Well, like the
definitely made it
roller
family
coaster.
friendly.
Remember the roller coaster outside the MGM?
Yeah,
or,
it's
New
all.
York?
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah,
It's like we want the
ridiculous.
money.
Yeah.
The parents aren't spending as much money as we thought they were going to spend. Kids come for free.
Now, Bernie, you worked Vegas a couple times recently.
Yes, I'm gonna be there the week after we get back. I get back on October 7, and then I work Vegas October 9. So I'll be there when I get back. Yeah.
You'll be at the MGM Brad Garrett's comedy.
Brad
Club.
Garrett's, yes.
You like obviously.
I like them.
Nice
Classy
club.
operation, and he's really nice.
Yeah, Brad's been.
And
nice
you cannot always say that about clubs, as we know.
I like the look. I've never worked it. I like the look of that room. I like the MGM, the whole thing. I can't imagine. Have you worked with Brad when Brad's? Because I see he hosts.
I have, and I'm going to be working with him.
How are you
again.
following that?
It's not easy because he slays and annihilates the room. So you just get out there with a lot of caffeine in you. And
he's doing like a Rickles, right? He's doing like the old school insulting the Jew and the black, so
yes. And he's
like,
great at it. He's really good at it.
He's also contractually obligated to be there every so many weeks.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing I would find hard about that club is, people go to Vegas, they see Brad Garrett's name, they're going to buy a ticket. And then you get in there, and then I walk out. They're like, "What the fuck's Brad?"
Yeah.
Are people thinking that, or do they make an announcement of any kind? Like, do people know he's not there that night?
He hosts, and he really, really does give a lot, and he sets you up really well. And he tells them he really, really does set you up well.
He's not delusional.
But at the same time, you still do have to bring it to follow the energy and what he just did for 15 minutes. So it's that combo. It's a good combo.
But it's if you follow someone doing 15 minutes of material and killing, that's one thing. But if you have to follow someone 15 minutes of crowd work killing, that's a different thing.
And fame.
That's much tougher.
Or the fame on there.
And
fame.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
Occasionally, this one gives me very, very good pointers. And
occasionally
it was good because just a few weeks before I worked with Brad the last time, I followed somebody who slayed an MC who just did serious crowd work, very, very good, hard hitting crowd work for 18 minutes and then brought me up. And like a moron, I started talking to someone in the crowd. And then I was in and out of my act because I don't do all crowd work. And he said to me, which I do appreciate, he doesn't treat me like my tutor, but he said, "What were you thinking?" He just said, someone just slayed with 18 minutes of fierce crowd work. You don't get up and start talking to, you know what I mean? And I was like, duh, of course. Not that I tanked, but I should have.
No.
But I never really went through it quite that way. So luckily for me, 2 weeks later, Brad annihilates the room. And I said to myself, because I get tempted to talk to the audience, I get sidetracked by them and they intrigue me and they're more interesting to me than my act. But I was like,
100%.
Yeah. So I was kind of glad that I made that faux pas with him a couple weeks prior.
Right.
And didn't do it at Brad's club. So
isn't it amazing though? You could be doing comedy 20 years and you still make these rookie mistakes. And like I do it all the time and you go, how the fuck did I open with a brand new joke? That was retarded.
Yes.
Can't even say that. But
you get stupid and diluted. You're like, no, but this is really funny, so this one's gonna work.
The rule is you're supposed to sneak it in the middle somewhere, right? You're supposed to sneak a new joke in the middle.
I know.
I get so excited sometimes about doing it too. It's like, I feel
it's
confident.
crazy.
I do it right out of the gate.
Yeah, you have this one little line. Oh, this is gonna, and then if it works, you feel so great. And if it doesn't work, you're just so bummed. But it's like, dude, you just did 40 minutes. You did great. But that one joke didn't work. I'm in my head. It's such a weird thing. I even still have the thing where if I look at someone and they're like,
"Yep,
I'm bummed out the whole show." And what do I care if that guy doesn't laugh? What do I give a shit?
But we did talk about
it. But it gets in my head and I care about it.
Sure. Yeah,
it sucks.
When I see them up front with their arms crossed, I'm drawn towards them. And they're barely laughing or just
Do
like
you
smirking.
comment on them? Will you
So
comment
I
and
have
say, hey,
or ignore them. It
uncross
depends on
the
my
arms
mood.
or
Yeah. But also, more than once, I've had someone come up to me who had their arms crossed and looked like and they go, "Hey, I just want to say that's the most fun I've had in a couple of years. I just
I know.
recently lost, blah 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 blah." And
Yeah.
I'm like, I totally judge them the wrong way.
Well, that's the thing about reading a room. We're always wrong. I mean, I'm always wrong. I go, this crowd's going to suck. They're great, whatever,
Mhm.
And that guy might be having a good time, but I don't know why it gets in my. It shouldn't after this many years. Why do
The
I
old
care?
joke.
And
The old joke is,
Hmm?
"Hey, you having a good time?" "Yes." "Well, tell your face." That was a big line.
oh yeah,
in
oh
the
that's a
80s.
good one. I'm going to write that down. So what was that? So tell what your face. Nice, I like it.
All the MCs were doing it. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. I'm fucking. I still hear it out here. I still hear that. I hear get a watch or can I buy you a watch? I'm like, really? We're still going there.
Wow.
I wrote a thing yesterday on Twitter just because the guy I'm working with, the crowd was chatty, and he goes, "What is this? The Jerry Springer show?" And it's like,
Wow.
Springer's dead. The show hasn't been on the air in
20
15 years.
Yeah.
That reference has got to go. I mean, the Jerry Springer show reference as a
I'm
thing,
not a
I
crook.
think has to.
I'm sorry.
I'd rather hear that. That's at least
I'm not
pull
a
out a
crook.
Nixon impression. That's funny. But anyway, so are you guys now? Are you done with shows this week, Alfred?
On this cruise.
Are you just
Yeah.
And then we have
cruising?
a turn. This is Barcelona to Civitavecchia, Italy. So, and we hit all these places in the Mediterranean, all these islands and mainland cities. We're going to go to Cannes and
Next week, right?
next
Is it
week.
Can?
Yes.
How do you pronounce? Is it Can? Is that the official pronunciation? I've never known.
Well, you know me, I like to go to my Star Trek, Captain James D. Kirk. But
Right, Con. We've that's. But I don't know if is it. Do we know an official pronunciation? Does anyone know?
I
Con,
should know. I studied
Can?
French. I think it is
I've been
con.
corrected
Is
both.
it con?
You went to Con?
I always feel like
I went to
people are
Cannes. You go, "You went
pretentious
to
when they
Cannes?"
say con, but can doesn't sound right.
No.
But you know what I mean? Like you see some actor, we were at con. You go, oh, shut up.
Where'd he
But
go? He went to the
can-
can.
He went to the can. That sounds.
Yeah, he went to the John. Went to the can.
Yeah, he went to the can. We should bring can back. That's a good bathroom
I'm gonna hit the
word people
can.
don't use anymore. I'm gonna hit the can.
What does that even
It's pretty
mean?
manly.
Did you
Hit the can?
you piddled in a can
Probably.
and then emptied
Yeah.
it?
I can. Yeah, I don't know. But
Are there still holes in
good,
the floor in France? Did you see any holes in the floor?
To pee in?
Yeah.
No, but I did pee in literally a water closet. Like she opened the closet
Oh.
in the wine bar and there was no light. So when you shut the door, it's pitch black and the door is at your knees.
Flies.
And it's in the kitchen next to the sink. But that's
wow.
what you get when you ask
Europe.
to use the
Well,
bathroom.
it's a 1,200-year-old building. And
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, this little area.
Very
They made a
romantic.
little, and you walk outside and there's a patio looking at the harbor. So you make.
But
a
I
little
didn't see
Yeah.
a hole in the ground, but I
cafe.
did pee in holes in the ground in both China and Italy.
Yes, I've done that.
Wow.
In Paris, 25 years ago.
Like you go in the stall.
He didn't.
And
it's just a hole.
He didn't.
It's a
round.
It's like porcelain or like
Uh-huh.
tile, but yeah, it's just a hole. Which is funny. It's like, oh, thanks for putting the door around this hole. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you skip.
I was in a bar in Spain when I was in the Navy, but it wasn't a bathroom hole. But we were drinking, and then I said, "Where's the bathroom?" And the guy pointed to the back. But as I walked to the bathroom, there was a hole in the floor, and I went right down.
Oh, you
And I was just
fell.
laying on my back.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like There Will Be Blood, where he's in the thing. He just lays on his back. He's like, ugh. So I'm laying on my back, and I'm like, because the wind got knocked out,
Sure.
and I'm drunk.
Did you fall in a toilet?
So I'm laying there. No, well, I don't know. It was just a hole in the floor. But now that you're saying that could be that, maybe that was a bathroom.
Well,
the
it was
way
a
these
big hole.
Europeans-
That would be a big hole, man.
That
big
was a
hole.
big hole.
It was a big hole. I went right down, and the guys are drinking, and no one's paying attention. And then I guess after 15 minutes, somebody said, "Where the fuck Romas go?" And they walk past. I'm like, "Ugh!" And I see feet. And I'm like, "Ugh!" And they're just fucking hysterical. They're, and then I got like, and one of the guys came down and lifted, and I was covered in dirt and
Oh,
So it was a
and-
cellar,
oh,
basically.
yeah, but
Well,
wide open hole on the way to the
I
bathroom.
still notice
mean,
that in a lot of these places, third world places in the Caribbean, like the sidewalk will be like totally just dismantled,
Mm.
and they don't put the
Yeah.
construction tape around there. There's no. It's like, good luck.
No.
We hope you make it to the other side.
Yeah, they're not up with the handicap codes in
Well, just
in,
yellow,
the
yellow
Caribbean.
construction tape,
Yeah.
or whatever, or orange cones.
yeah.
I never see that. Nassau,
No.
I mean, it's just like a big
Well.
hole in the sidewalk, and you got to go into the street with oncoming traffic and go around. Crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
plus they're not as Sue happy. I don't think you can. When we got engaged in Amsterdam, he had a gig in Amsterdam and invited me over and asked me to marry him because all these honeymoons of
Yeah.
mine, and every extravagant vacation's always been a paid
This
trip.
guy,
He knows what he's doing.
I like the way he works. That's
So when we were in Amsterdam,
How can I save money?
we were blown away by the fact that, like, along the canals, these restaurants and bars will set up tables literally on the side of the canal, and it's beautiful, but there's like no railing or anything. You could get drunk and fall right over or fall out of your chair. And we were blown away.
Yeah.
And we talked to people from there, like, oh my God, you could never have this in the United States, the liability. And they were like, we don't do that here, because if you get drunk and fall in the canal, that's your fault because you got drunk and fell in the canal. You know what I mean? It's just.
Is that why we've
Makes
become a bunch of
sense.
pussies with the helmets, the plexiglass, all the safety, all that?
Well, it's like on a cruise when someone falls overboard. Like, no, they didn't fall. That balcony is you're not falling. You got thrown, or you got drunk and stood on it.
Or you
didn't fall.
Or you said adios.
Adios. Yeah, but you didn't fall. Well, the media likes the way they'll paint it, like with COVID, a petri dish they used to use as a cruise. It's like, shut up. It's cleaner than anywhere in the world right now. And no one said a word about a plane ever.
Cruise ships were the safest,
but they like to say people are falling off cruise ships, and it's like it's not even possible.
No.
Unless maybe a dwarf.
You know what's annoying about it, actually? The height of the seats. You can't have the high stools in the back or by the edges, like on the Sunset Bar in the back of a lot of ships. You have to have the regular low seats, and then there's a railing, and it's at your eye level, so you can't see.
Oh, right.
You can't see the sunset unless you stand up a little bit or look underneath. It's designed that way because the measurement of whatever that is designed so the average person cannot fall overboard.
Have you been to the Leaning Tower of Pisa?
No.
So we're going tomorrow, and I can't remember if I've been there once or twice. I think I was there I can't remember because, but the first time I was ever there was in high school when Sandra Castellucci's family had me over and the mother took us to Pisa for the day. I could not believe you could walk up the Leaning Tower of Pisa with hundreds of year old slippery marble type steps and look right. And there was no railing. There was nothing. And I was like petrified. Wow. And people would go up and just look over and hope that you don't die. And I remember saying, I can't believe there's no railing here. Yeah. I was a kid. And my friend Sandra goes, yeah, well, if you fall over or you lean over, you're dumb. You shouldn't. People have fallen. But then I went back, I think, and they had a handrail since I went back.
Well, now, as because they forced it, I think, didn't they move it like back a few centimeters a lot? It doesn't lean nearly.
Did they straighten it a little? I didn't know that. I don't know.
They did. I know they enforced it so it's not going to topple. That engineer.
Are we going to see the picture of Alfred pushing the Leaning Tower? Are you going to have that? We're going to see that picture tomorrow.
Yes, you are.
We're excited.
That's good. Because you brought it up.
Well, I'm excited. I would be very disappointed if I didn't get that picture of one of
you.
I
want to be ironic.
The fucking tower.
Tilt the camera so that it looks straight, and then I'm leaning.
Oh, well, you're a visual guy. That's how you work. Yeah, you're always thinking that way. That's pretty good.
Visual guy. I didn't see that.
Visually, Al, you're going to enjoy this when you edit it. Bernie's hat has a white. If you're on the Patreon, this is perfect for you. Bernie's hat has a white top. And when you look at it from this view, it looks like there's a hole in the curtain because it's just a black part and then a white. So it looks like Bernie's sitting there with a black hat, but there's a white hole in the curtain. I like it. It's been good. Well, there you go. But It just looks like the curtains are ripped. So I've enjoyed that.
I know you did. So when you go home after this cruise, where are you going to be for and how long?
I'm gonna go home Sunday. I'll be at Visani's Wednesday, whatever night that is, October 3rd or 4th. One night at Visani's in Port Charlotte, and then I'm back on the Oasis, my final 2-week cruise on the Oasis. I've been on and off that thing since May. My final trip to Bayonne.
In Bayonne.
I do. I love Bayonne. Yeah.
Well, you know what it is when you overnight. You have to overnight.
Yeah, airport in. Yeah.
There's nothing there.
No, and I like a cigar, and a lot of the airport hotels, for whatever, they don't have a smoking area anymore. And meanwhile, it's pilots and stewardesses, but no smoking area. So in the front of the hotel is like a bench, and that's the smoking area. So I get there, and in the evening it's me and 4 pilots and 6 stewardesses. They're all chain smoking, and I have a cigar, and it's like, this is what you give us, but that's the way modern airport hotels are now. It's not. It's funny. The shittier the hotel, the better like. You go to a Motel 6 as an example. They give you free Wi-Fi. You know what I mean? There's probably a little area for smoking, whatever. Little breakfast. But you go to the Hyatt or whatever, and no smoking. Wi-Fi's shitty or $18. Breakfast is Raisin Bran and coffee. I mean, it's great. Or you can buy it. Buy a real good breakfast. But it's interesting. I think they look at it too. The higher end, you shouldn't be smoking or something or smoking's bad. Where the poorer hotels are like, hey, we know you smoke. Get in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
think so. Yeah, I think there's a connection.
Powdered scrambled eggs. Come on, swing by.
Now, are you guys in port? It's evening, right? So you listen, we got 6-hour time difference right now. So
5:30 p.m.
Yes,
or it's
we're
early
about to set
evening.
sail. So the bow thrusters on the ship should be starting up in a few moments.
And what's on the plan tonight? Little dinner? What are we doing? What's happening tonight, you guys, on the ship?
Tonight, do we have the energy for that?
I don't think I have the energy. Bernie loves a good buffet. I love knowing I can roll out of bed and there's a buffet waiting for me at any minute.
She gets very excited. I'll fill my plate up and then walk over and say, I'm just going to grab the table over here. I'll be right over. She goes, okay, I'm still looking.
I wander that buffet like an Ethiopian.
And then I got to go back now because I saw something I like over there.
Wow. All right.
I feel like I work here like I'm the inspector. Like I have to take inventory of every single item, even things I would never eat. I have to know it all, and then I try to taste everything humanly possible.
You're one of those buffet people. Do you walk around, you look at everything first, then get a plate and move around, or do you get the plate? Do you put stuff on as you're looking?
Well, when my husband's not rushing me, because sometimes he loses patience, I like to look. I like to.
My food's getting cold.
I like to see it all.
Yeah, we're not.
And then make a game plan. And then I still go up 2 to 3 times.
Oh, wow.
I love performing in front of a big crowd. I hate being amongst a big crowd. And
that's right.
When you hit these buffets at certain times, okay, the show's getting on in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they're going to come like cattle.
Yeah. That was it.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yes.
I haven't had that before.
Yes.
Go, 1, 2, 3. My plate is full. Everything's piping hot. And she goes, go, sit down. Start without me. I have to keep looking. And sure enough, I grab a table somewhere, and I can see the doors open, and here they come. Here comes the cat.
Yes.
Yes. And they cut in front of you.
They do.
Elbow you.
Oh.
They're animals.
I did a 7:30 show last night. I went up to the buffet at 8:30 when it was over.
Mm-hmm.
The entire audience seemed to be in the buffet. I mean, it was to the point I almost put the plate down and left because it was getting like, hey, good show, buddy. I'm like, thank you. Oh, look at it. We're going to make a joke about hey, how are you? You know, that.
Hey, you're the comedian.
Like, fuck? Yeah, it's,
Hey, it's the comedian.
I just sat down.
It's the comedian.
I ate and I put that shit down in 5 minutes and got the hell out of there. You know what I mean? But it's the way it is.
I'm okay with it now. Getting the recognition today was fine. But when when I'm going to eat, it's just, and when you're trying to eat and they go, I got one for you. They're trying to tell you a joke.
I like Andy Kindler's line when they go, I got one for you. And he goes, do I look like I'm looking for one?
That's a great line. That's great.
Is he still around? I haven't heard that name. And
yeah,
he still does the Montreal Comedy Festival. He's like a staple up there. The new.
Okay. I always wonder guys like that, how they make a living. Because he's not on the road. He's not like, how does a guy like, what does he do for?
I don't know for sure, but then occasionally I'll see him pop up. There'll be like a cable show on, and all of a sudden, Andy with your host, Andy Kindler, or he's a contestant. And is he a writer? Does he write for shows? And
I don't know.
He seems to be peripherally in the system.
Like, right. He's peripherally. Yeah. He's there, but does that pay something? Do you make money doing that?
Well,
I don't know.
I'm guessing so much of his act is about industry and industry driven that would make him kind of like one of their go-to guys. You know how industry just loves anything about them? So he might always be in the forefront of their brain.
Okay.
Because to them,
it's a name I haven't heard in so long. And he's one of those guys I used to like to watch. It was hilarious because it's one of those, I'm laughing. And a lot of times the crowd is like staring at him.
Yeah.
But to me, it's that kind of comic where you just go, that's fucking hysterical. And the audience is like, no, we don't care.
I did see him in a series of things where it'd be like 6 episodes of a new show, a game show. And then with Andy Kindler as one of the judges or something. And then the show goes away, and so does Andy. He'd be on something else.
Wasn't he a judge on Last Comic Standing?
He was a judge on Last.
I'm pretty sure he failed me.
But that
Greg Giraldo liked me, and Andy Kindler didn't like me.
You were on Last Comic Standing?
I was seduced into auditioning for it, and Al and I were both talked into it like idiots. And I knew it was a mistake, and I shouldn't have done it. And I did it.
Did it air? Your set air?
No, I didn't even get that far because Andy Kindler hated me. But it's okay because I just called him Andy Kindler. So I guess.
Was that so? Who were the judges in that? Was that when Giraldo was a judge?
Greg Giraldo, Natasha Leggero, and Andy Kindler.
Wow, that's too weird. Like
that's an odd mix.
I was on Star Search. It was BB King and Florence Henderson. Wacko celebrities, but at least they were in comics. But it would feel weird to go in front of Andy Kindler and Greg Giraldo and have them judge me. Yeah, it's like we did a gig together 3 weeks ago. Now you're judging me.
Andy, you middled and I closed.
I don't think that Greg Giraldo. I don't think Greg Giraldo felt good about it.
No, it was
down to earth and stuff, and he was like, Bernie, I know you, I like you, I love your husband, and I think that's really great, and I'm going to pass you. But I think he felt like that a lot, like weird about it.
Sure. Yeah, but it was, it's a TV money job, so he could. But I get that. Al, did you do it?
I did. We actually did. They try to do the. We were engaged, so they were trying to do the couples thing.
We were engaged. This one, did you get a standing O, or you just did great?
It went well. I made it to a television, but it was one of those things where they knew I wasn't going to move on, so they didn't show half of us performing. They showed us at the curtain call when they picked the winner, because those are produced shows.
Right. Were they playing up the fact you're engaged? Were they doing that whole thing?
Yeah, they were following us around, kind of like they did with America's Got Talent.
Yes, but what they did here is he had a second. He did great. They moved him on. They failed me.
I remember he had another great set
at the comic strip, and they had cameras in my face in the little back room. There's a little like antechamber, green room, and they were trying to have us do the competitive thing. Like, he was passed on and you were kept back. Do you think it's like because you're a woman, or does he overshadow you? And I was like, no, they moved him forward because he had a great set. And I was like, no, and they were like, are you guys competitive at home? And I was like, no. Why would I be? Like, anything he gets, I get, and vice versa. And then I could see their faces. They shut the camera off and they were like, yeah, thanks. Bye.
This is no good.
Yeah.
Our script doesn't show this lady. We need you to be fucking pissed. Let's go. Yeah.
I should have put some black eye makeup on and flinched when I was around him, but I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun.
Next time.
Well, Next time. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up here. Is there anything else we need to cover before we say sayonara?
I don't think so. I'm happy we got it done. I had serious doubts with Zoom and Europe and Curacao and 6 hours difference, but
isn't that amazing?
Pretty much got it done.
We're almost on different ends of the world here.
Yeah, I mean, what again? 6. So what is it? 11:30? Was that 5:30 there? And you guys will be eating your buffet, and I haven't even had lunch.
I see. This is what you do on a cruise. You wake up, you eat, you talk about eating, you talk about where you'll eat next, you take a nap, you take a walk, and then you eat.
Yeah. See, it's not bad. People go, like, I have friends, they'll go, oh, I could never do a cruise. I don't like anything regimented. I'm like, there's nothing regimented.
No.
You can do it if you want to be regimented, that's fine. But if you literally just want to lay in bed for 7 days.
They're thinking of cruising 25, 30 years ago, or watching the Love Boat when there was the seating times. It was like
right.
You have the early dinner or the late dinner. It's like you can eat whatever you want.
And it's not even formal anymore. I hear people bitching about that. The older people are like, they're not formal. But that's good. If you want to get formal, you can. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. You can still just wear a shirt.
I do like to. I don't think they allow flip flop and shorts.
I don't think
in the dining room, but I've seen some people push it. Wearing the.
I don't think the majority of. I don't think the crew will tell people no. You know what I mean? I think they don't really say anything. They just kind of go.
I've seen a couple of dudes walking their flip flops and shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm like, clearly the dress code.
It's a bad look. It's just a bad look for the person, though. Why would you? I mean, really, you can't put on like pants or a shoe. You can't wear a shoe to dinner.
They obviously never served.
It's pretty obvious. Thank you, Bernie. It is very obvious. Yes.
Oh,
we'll see you guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks, Bernie. Thanks for joining us, and Alfred. Guys, have a great week. We'll see you. Peace.
Adios.
So long, man. Have a good trip. You.
Iceberg dead ahead. Don't forget to review us and rate us. It really helps.
The Talking Dicks became friends at a very young age, and the rest is history.
I'm losing my mind.
Patreon.com/The Two Dicks, which is named after our web series. This is the Two Owls, One Pod podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What? Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
Okay, sure.
All right. Subscribe. Mary. This was a horrible mistake.
Go to patreon.com/The Two Dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.